Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Awesome. I hope you're doing good. It's so good to be in my space where I can record and just really get into this next story. First, I need to take a sip of water. So I was hoping I was going to get a little bit of engagement in terms of Team Maxwell or Team Anthony Hamilton. As I mentioned before, one of the stories was a little bit more personal and kind of talks about vulnerability, and then the other story is just a touching story that I'm going to share. So either way, I didn't really get the engagement, but it's all good. I'm just going to keep going forward, sharing these stories. And I decided to go with Anthony Hamilton. And let me tell you why. I was recently at an event this past weekend. If you all are in Los Angeles, California, the Seal Beach area, there's this restaurant called Spaghettini. Okay, Spaghettini. It's an Italian restaurant. However, on Sundays they do a brunch. It's really upscale. They have a live band. I'd never been there before. I'm out further north, and I went out there for a meeting with my I'm a brand ambassador for the Monique Woolley Foundation. And for those of you that don't know, the Monique Woolley Foundation was established to help promote the awareness of taking care of your mental health, also the awareness of suicide prevention and depression. The owner, Miss Amore, of that foundation, her daughter died by suicide some years back, and so she started this foundation. And I have my own personal story. If you are interested in that, please follow the Monique Woolley Foundation on Instagram. I believe she posted my story, but you can check that out. So anyway, all that to say that I am an ambassador for the foundation, and we had our meeting, just fellowship this past weekend at Spaghettini. I got to meet the owner of this restaurant, one of the co-owners. Actually, I met both owners, but I did an interview. With the actual one of the co-owners, Miss Lori. So if you want to check out that interview, you can always go to my personal Instagram page, which is just Tanasha_Allwood, and that's TANASHA_Allwood, and you'll see her interview there where she gives the history about the restaurant Spaghettini and how it's been in business for over 37 years. She built it from the ground up, etc., etc. But the point I want to make with this is, as I was enjoying the ambiance, the band comes on. Shout out to the band. I forget their name, but shout out to the band. The very first song that they started playing was an Anthony Hamilton song. It was an Anthony Hamilton song, Best of Me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, look at God. This is a sign. Nobody had talked to me in the comments about Team Anthony Hamilton or Team Maxwell. And I was just like, I'm real big on paying attention to signs and energies and things like that. And so when I heard that, of course, I was up and I was filming, and I was just like, okay, my next story is definitely going to be about Anthony Hamilton and how I met him. So shout out to Spaghettini. Go check them out on Sundays. I believe brunch starts at 10 a.m., 10 to 2. Live band. It's beautiful. And so yeah, we're going to get into my story about how I met Anthony Hamilton. So I first Well, I always like to start with a little bit of history. Um, Anthony Hamilton came out, I believe, in the '90s, if I'm not mistaken. And if you haven't realized yet, I I grew up in the '90s. Like I love the '90s. Like that was just kind of the best, not kind of the best era. If we could go back to the '90s, and the music and just everything. I love the '90s. So he came out in the '90s, and he's a singer. Okay, he's a singer. He's a songwriter. He's done some acting, but I know him as, you know, the singer, and he's just got some beautiful hits. I mean, everything from this song called Charlene to the, you know, Best Part of Me, which is I already mentioned. Cool, that's just classic. What else? What other songs? Oh, my favorite song by Anthony Hamilton is Her Heart. I always said that if I get married again, yes, if I get married again, I've been married before. If I get married again, I want Anthony Hamilton to come to my wedding and sing this song, Her Heart. It's just, whenever I hear it, it brings tears to my eyes. It's a beautiful love song. And Anthony Hamilton, he's like the narrator of love. When you really get into the lyrics and the music and just really take time to like soak it all in. I'm one of those who, I like to light my candles, I like my incense, I'll from time to time have a glass of wine, and just kind of after a long hard day at work, sometimes I just kind of woosah and put on a little, you know, Anthony Hamilton, and it just sets the mood for me. So Her Heart is my favorite Anthony Hamilton song. And anyway, that's a little bit about him. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. I do know that. And if you've never been to North Carolina, in my opinion, is the most beautiful state ever. Like, I've traveled to North Carolina several times, just, you know, visiting family and friends, and I was with someone for a very long time who was from North Carolina, and I love North Carolina. It's just so beautiful. Like, especially around the fall time, if you go during the fall, you you get to see all the beautiful trees changing colors and the weather. We don't get that out here in California. I love the beautiful season changes. I don't like the cold. I don't like cold weather, and I don't like snow. But going to North Carolina during the fall season and seeing all the beautiful greenery and the trees and just how they change colors and just that fall crisp weather, it's beautiful. So anyway, he's from North Carolina, which is a beautiful state. What else can I say about Anthony Hamilton? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all that I know about him. But I'm gonna, before I get into like how we actually met, I need to share with you the story behind it. So about 2 years ago, I was working with a therapist on some just personal things that I was going through in my life. I was dealing with the incarceration of a loved one, and it just had me in a very dark place, a place that was too familiar. And without going too deep into that, because at some point I'm gonna share all that. This dark place was, I had been there before, right? I had been there before, and I didn't necessarily want to fall deep into it. So I took it upon myself to get a therapist. And through the work of therapy, the first thing that my therapist, shout out to first, can I brag on my therapist real quick? I don't know, any of you listening, if you have ever worked with a therapist, kudos to you, because let me tell you, in my community where I grew up, my stepdad, he's from Kingston, Jamaica, and my mom, you know, she's African American. I grew up in a household that doesn't talk about issues, family matters, or just issues or anything dealing with the heart, or just anything. Anytime anything major happens, we just kind of and sweep it under the rug. That's just how I grew up. We don't talk about things. Good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is. But for me and where I'm at in life and my journey over the course of the past couple of years, I decided I wanted to change that. And so in this, one of the first couple of therapy sessions that I had, she told me that the thing that was holding me back was vulnerability. She said that I needed to be more vulnerable. And she was right. You know, she was right. The profession that I'm in, I have to, dot my I's, cross my T's. I'm always just like on at work. I'm just always on, and I don't necessarily mingle with my direct reports, or get to know people too much outside of work. Like, I keep to myself because I'm a boss, and I say that with all humility. I'm very humbled about where God has positioned me in life. But I just don't get too entangled, and I don't allow people to get too close to me. And a part of that is because I have just have so much going on in my personal life, and I draw that line between personal life and professional life, and I just I'm a work in progress. I just say it that way. I'm a work in progress. I just I feel like for me, one, being here in California and not really having a ton of friends. I've never been one to have like a ton of friends, but those that I do have that are like close to me, like it takes me a minute, and I will open up and like give a little and see what people do with that information, and then I'm able to judge, okay, can I trust this person with my stuff, or are they gonna throw it back in my face, because I've had that happen before and it doesn't feel good. So it just kind of takes a minute. Like I said, with the family dynamics and not really being able to talk about things, it puts you in a position where it's just kind of like, okay, well, I know what I need to work on, and can I like necessarily do that with a friend or a partner or coworker? And I've been in my career over 2 decades, and that part of me is that's not going to happen. I keep work life separate from my personal life. So when a friendship, okay, yeah, I've been working on that. I've been trying to be more vulnerable and open up about what I have going on. And then, don't get me started on like a like a personal relationship with a man or something. Like, just, oh God, I'm gonna have to do a whole nother story on just my dating life. I mean, I feel like, let me say it this way, because I want to be positive. I'm grateful for all of my opportunities. I'm grateful for all the people I've met. I've met some wonderful people in terms of like dating and stuff. But for me, it's gonna take the right person for me to be vulnerable with them, if that makes sense. I know who I am. I know what I need to work on, and um, I know with the right person that it wouldn't be like an issue. So until I feel like God has, brought a person across my path that I'm like, okay, I can feel secure in this relationship. I can relax in my femininity and, feel, protected with, my stuff, and we're gonna be there for each other and not throw things in people's face and all the things. When that happens, then yes, I can lean into my vulnerability. But until then, I'm just kind of like, So anyway, on this call with my therapist, she said, I need to be more vulnerable. So yeah, one of the very first activities she wanted me to do was to find things that brought me joy and find things that made me happy, and what some things are that I wanted to do, and or not wanted to do but like hadn't done before. She talked about like taking myself out on solo dates. And so back in October 2023, almost 2 years ago, I was doing this work, and I had got selected to participate in a live audience. It was at this church in LA called Oasis. Henry Gates Jr. was hosting a live gospel show. It's going to be airing on PBS. So yeah, I was casted as a live audience member, and so I went to that, and John Legend was there performing. Anthony Hamilton was there performing, and who else was it? It was, the Campbell sisters. Erica Campbell was there, and so it was when I was sitting there and I was networking with some people next to me, I found out that Anthony was actually going to be in town for another day doing a concert. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I love Anthony Hamilton. Like, I had been to one of his shows before in the past, back when I lived in Kansas City, and he puts on a phenomenal concert. Like, it's just you're up out of your seats, you're dancing. It's an intimate vibe. And so anyway, when we were sitting there in church, I was just like, you know what? My therapist said I need to get out, I need to do things. I'm taking myself on a date. So I looked it up. The concert was going to be at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills. I'm like, ooh, Beverly Hills. So I went online. I bought a ticket. I went all out. I did the whole VIP access, and I tried to get like an upfront seat, but those were all taken. So I think I was like, I'm trying to think, maybe 4 or 5 rows from the front. But I feel like I still, I paid good money, and I felt like I had a good seat. And so I had never done this before. I had never taken myself to a concert all by myself. I took myself to an Anthony Hamilton concert, October 2023, in Beverly Hills at I believe it's the Savon Theater. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't necessarily scared, but it's just like, who does that? I don't know if have you ever taken yourself to a concert before? Yeah, I didn't. So when you let me go back to being vulnerable. Like, one of the reasons people don't lean into vulnerability is because they're afraid of that rejection. They're afraid of what people are going to say or think or feel, that judgment. And so for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are people, yes, it did hit me for a minute. I'm like, are people gonna think, oh, she doesn't have any friends, oh, she's so beautiful, why is she here all alone, where's her man? Like, all this stuff started rushing through my brain, and I was just like, you know what, tune that out. You pay good money, you work hard, just go and have a good time and do you. And so I did. I went to the concert, and yes, I did feel judged. There was a lady next to me. She, bless her heart, she was so sweet. She kept looking, you know, because there was a seat empty next to me, and she kept looking. She's like, the concert's getting ready to start, and she's like, look, I know she hasn't said anything, but I'm like, I know, God, she's about to say, are you here by yourself? And sure enough, she's like, you here by yourself? I was like, yeah. I'm intentionally here by myself. And she's like, wow. And she's like, can I tell you something? I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, here it comes. She's like, you are amazing. She's like, you are amazing. She's like, I don't even know you. I can just feel your energy. You're beautiful. You're amazing. I wish, she's like, I've been married 30 years. I wish I could do what you're doing right now. I was like, wow. She's like, I know you're gonna have a great time. My name is such and such. And yeah, she's like, kudos to you. Keep doing what you're doing. It brought tears to my eyes. Like, I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed now just thinking about that moment, because it takes a lot of bravery to put yourself out there. You know, take yourself to a concert by yourself. Like, who does that? Me. Anyway, and to allow people to see you out and be seen. So, I'll probably post like a little video of me, like the DJ came on and he was getting the crowd hyped up and stuff, and I'm just singing along, singing my song. I like tuned everybody out except for this lady, because she was nice and her husband was cool too. So fast forward, Anthony Hamilton comes on and he sings all the great songs, all the songs I just mentioned. He sang Charlene. He sang Coming From Where I'm From. He sang Cool. If you're cool and I'm cool, then we're cool. Something, you know, that song. Giving you the best of me. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. That he sang that, and then he sang my favorite song. He sang my favorite song, Her Heart. Her Heart. He sang that, and I was just like, I love Anthony Hamilton. It was the best. It was the best concert. I had a great time. I had a little drinky drink. And I had got hit on a couple of times, but I wasn't entertaining none of that. So after the show, I'm like, what? So what? I go up to the merch table. People are leaving, and I'm just over at the merch table, and I'm like, so what exactly does the VIP access get me? He's like, oh, it was just, better seating. I was like, so is he gonna be doing a meet and greet or anything? They're like, oh, well, he doesn't really do meet and greets. I was like, huh. I was like, so I don't get anything for this VIP. He's like, well, you didn't get your t-shirt and bag. I was like, no, I wasn't given anything. He's like, well, hold up a second. So he goes and digs behind out of these boxes and brings me back a t-shirt, Anthony Hamilton t-shirt. He brings me a bag and my like a little like lanyard thing. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. And I was like, all right, well, it's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then get out of here. So I go to the ladies' room, And there's people in there talking about, yeah, we're going to stick around because we heard that he's probably going to come out and do a little meet and greet. I'm like, huh. I was like, this guy just said he's probably not going to do a meet and greet. I'm thinking this to myself. I was like, huh. So I washed my hands and stuff, and I kind of follow these girls because clearly they know something I don't know. And so they go back inside the venue to where they're trying to clear people out, and I noticed there's like a section of people over by the bar, and that lady that was next to me, she's like, are you doing the meet and greet? I was like, no, I didn't know there was a meet and greet. There's a meet and greet. She's like, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, well, I'm gonna just stand here with you and your husband. She's like, yeah, just get right here, stand in. She's like, did you get a ticket? And I was like, no, I got this VIP thing, but she's like, girl, you're so beautiful. It doesn't even matter. Just stand right here and act like you're part of the crew. I'm like, oh, but I don't know, the God in me wouldn't let me, so I went back over to the table. I'm like, oh, they're gonna kick me out of here. I was like, hey, my friend over there, she's doing the meet and greet. I was like, do I need to pay? And he's like, so he's gonna do a meet and greet. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, well, if we could probably squeeze one more in. I'm like, what? You just said he wasn't. What is he? I was like, well, how much is it? He's like, oh, it'd be $99. I was like, for real? I was like, wow. I was like, all right, here. I was like, I'm out on a solo day. This is my once in a lifetime experience all by myself. I was like, gave him my credit card and got my little ticket and went back over to the section. And the next thing you know, this bodyguard comes out. Everyone needs to clear out. We're closing. And I was just like, oh God, I was like, just go and stand, talking to myself, just go stand over here because these people clearly are not moving. So I watched as they cleared the majority of like everybody out of the auditorium, and they just had this small section of folks over here. And finally, I guess they cleared as most people out, as with the exception of us that were going to be doing this meet and greet, and they had locked the doors. And then Anthony comes out. I was like, oh my gosh, he is so short. Look, there he is. And it was like, I kept looking at my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like midnight. And mind you, this concert was on a weekday. I had to go to work the next day. I didn't take off the next day. So my friend that I met in line, I was like, do you mind, can I get in front of you? I want to try to be one of the first ones. I got to get out of here. I'm not going to stick around. I just want to take get a quick picture and do my little meet and greet and get out of here. She's like, yeah, go ahead and stand up in front of us. And she's like, with your looks, you could probably go and snooze with the guy right there, and he'll probably let you go first. I was like, you think so? She's like, yeah, go ahead. She just gassed me up. And I'm not gonna lie, I did. I went over there and I was like, I'm kind of in a hurry. I didn't want to use the word groupie or nothing. Like, I was like, I'm legit paid. I don't know if these people pay it or not, but I gotta. He's like, I got you. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, you'll be the first one. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's right there. He had changed clothes, and he's standing right there. And then I was up. He's like, all right, you ready? I was like, yeah, I'm ready. So I had on my blazer. So I took my blazer off real quick and I sat my stuff down, and I go over there, and I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm just smiling big to big, or cheek to cheek. And he comes out and he's smiling too. And I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, cause I'm 5'10", okay? And then I had on heels, so I'm like probably like 6 foot. This guy is like below my boobs. And I said, I'm not gonna lie, I said, oh my gosh. I was like, how tall are you? And he said, with his confident self, he said, tall enough. Anthony Hamilton had me in there like, wow, this confidence right here. Okay, I normally don't go for short guys at all. Like, I prefer my men tall, light skinned, 6'6" at least. But Anthony Hamilton on that night, I was like, okay. He had me thinking, ooh, I could date a short guy. So, yeah, anyway, we had a little banter going back and forth. It was cute. So yeah, I took my pictures and I gave him a hug. I don't know. I'm a hugger. If you ever get to meet me, you know, I feel your vibe and your energy. I'm a hugger. And I was like, thank you. Like, I wasn't trying to stick around and flirt, be like, oh, where's the after party at? And, you know, trying to go to your hotel room. None of that. I'm not that girl. I had responsibilities I had to get going. And I was like, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I said, is it okay if I tag you when I post my picture? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Please do. I want you to tag me. And he's like, what's your name? I said, Tanasha Allwood. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm going to follow you. And I was like, all right, sure. But anyway, that was my Anthony Hamilton story. The day I met Anthony Hamilton. As I was leaving, they had to unlock the doors. And as I was leaving, it was in a residential neighborhood. So I kind of felt safe. But at the same time, it's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning now. And I had like 2 blocks to walk. So I'm walking. And I have my phone out and I have my purse and my bag, and I go by one of the security guards. He's like, you by yourself? I was like, yeah. He's like, you gonna be all right? I'm like, yeah, it's not too far. It's like, all right. So I'm trotting along, and then another guy, he's like, I could tell he's like one of the, he wasn't one of the merch guys, but he was like from the band. The band was offloading, loading up the stuff into the van. And another guy, he's like, you okay? You by yourself? I was like, yeah. He's like, hold on a second. I was like, oh God. He's like, no, I'm gonna walk with you. I'm gonna walk with you. You shouldn't be out here walking alone. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So, his name is Sean, and come to find out, Sean is actually Anthony Hamilton's tour manager, and we became friends, exchanged information and whatnot. And so he walked me 2 blocks to my car, and we were just talking. I was trying not to be like asking a lot of questions, but I just appreciated the fact that, yeah, I'm out here by myself. I'm walking to my car, and he walked me. And so then I was like, well, the least I can do is give you a drive back to, you know, the front of the building where you're unloading and stuff. He's like, yeah, that's cool. So we circle around, and then I drive him back, and he's like, you know, keep in touch. I'm on Instagram. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we exchanged Instagrams, and yeah, that was it. I was like, when's Anthony coming back? He's like, oh, he's gonna be doing another show soon. But just follow me. We'll keep up. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, thanks. That was it. That was my Anthony Hamilton story. I hadn't seen him in concert or anything else since, but I do follow him. He never did follow me back, but it's cool. I'm cool. I was just thankful for the experience. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that story on vulnerability and the day I met Anthony Hamilton. I will be posting a picture soon. And thank you so much for listening. If you guys aren't following me and you're listening, go ahead and follow me so you can keep up. I got a lot more stories to share that are just, you know, unique to me. And yeah, I just thank you all so much for tuning in to Grateful for Stardust. All right, I'm your host, Tanasha Allwood. Mwah, mwah. Love y'all. Bye.